Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn and I am, apart from other things, a tattoo enthusiast. I have quite a few tattoos, as you can see, and I'm going to be talking about some of my more recent ones. So since lockdown the 3rd ended in the UK, I have been getting back into tattooing, or getting tattooed, and spending all that lovely furlough money that I've been collecting since sitting on my ass doing nothing for the past 5 months. It's great. So one of the things that I had booked and then had to be rescheduled because of the lockdown was my Yoshi tattoo. Now this I have had for about 10 years, and this wasn't a new tattoo, this was just a refresher of the old one, because the Yoshi tattoo that I had, I then added some more Mario characters to it, which I have shown in the past, but I will put pictures up on screen. Basically, the Yoshi compared to Birdo and Goomba looked kind of flat. So my tattoo artist, his name is Sam Sazio at Doom Studio, which used to be called Nautilus here in Taunton. He added more colour, added more sort of shape and depth and shading, and redid the outline to make it look sharper so that it matched the other two characters, and couldn't be happier with that. Especially as this is going to be my Nintendo leg, and yeah, I'm gonna add more Nintendo characters to that. So the second sort of batch of tattoos that I got was this dice here. I will put better pictures up on screen of these also. Basically, this was the logo for Hexagon Cafe, the board game cafe that I used to go to, the one that unfortunately closed down. And I got permission from Ryan, who owns the design and helped create it and everything. He, is like, we're still friends with email and stuff. He's moved away, unfortunately, but we're still friends with email, and he gave me permission to use that. Also, there is a additional rose here now, which doesn't really fit the aesthetic of this rose, which is what I asked for, but it is very lovely. It is very fancy, but I'm now thinking that I've got to go over this rose and sort of have it match this style a bit more, with some curly bits and additional things as well, which is just more work. But it's very pretty, it's very nice. These curly bits really fucking hurt as well, right there. This whole part of the arm sort of hurts anyway, but the closer it got to here, just, oh, yeah. The other thing that I've had done is the finger spikes here. These covered up old tattoos on my fingers that were very nice design, but just blurry and shit. And I like the design. I will, because it's from Nintendo, again, I had the word ghost written on my knuckles in unknown, which are, from Pokemon. I will have that design done again on my leg, on my Nintendo leg, a bit bigger, a bit clearer, just because I like that idea, but didn't really work out here because it just blurred out way too much. Blur is a really bad thing, like quite commonly can happen on fingers. Like these fingers are not so badly affected by it. But yeah, that's the situation on that one. And these finger spikes, these were so incredibly painful. And the reason that there's fading there is just because it sort of needed to take less time, and put it this way, after 3 fingers I was ready to tap out. And then the tattoo artist says, hey, do you want a break? I'm like, yes! that was done by a different tattoo artist than the one I mentioned before, as was the third group of tattoos. Now this is where things get really, really interesting in our story. So in the third session that I had, literally the day before my birthday, I had another big rose here on my arm, and I also had some more tribal done on my wrist. Now, I actually had the rose done second. We'll talk about the rose first, actually. So the rose, as you might have already seen on my channel, I had a tattoo here. It was cringy AF. It was already covering up a bad blurry tattoo anyway, but it was the zodiac wheel that was blurry and terrible was covered up by the wolf pack. I know, some people already know where I'm going with this. The wolf pack tattoo from the Twilight movies, because I kind of liked them. Even though I was more team vampire than team werewolf, I needed something to cover up that blurry ass bullshit, and that was the best thing I could come up with, and I was ready to do away with the cringe. So big rose instead, which was a bit of a problem because the session before I had asked that specific artist, hey, can you think of something to cover this up, please? He took a photo of it, and then the next time I was there, on the 3rd of June, he had nothing actually planned and just said, oh, I've got this rose image, you know, let's do that. Let's do a big rose that sort of covers up a multitude of sins. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But, you know, if I'd thought about it more, I probably could have had something a bit more me. But it is pretty, it is nice, it's huge, but it's nice. You can still see some of the things underneath it. I may need to have even more work done to this, just to add some insects or something, just to like cover up the, you know, what you can see underneath it, but overall it's fine. Unfortunately, this is the part of the story where things get very, very seriously, badly wrong. Because I have to talk about the wrist. So this artist that I will not name, this artist has done a lot of really good work on me. Same person who did my skulls on my chest, who did the design and execution of the snake bite tattoo, like lots of good stuff, but this is not good. This is not one of them. It is the only fuck up, but it is super visible because it's on my wrist. So I'm in this studio and I have built up a rapport with this tattoo artist. So I'm feeling comfortable and we're chatting, listening to disco music, and I had previously sent over the image actually, but he lost it, so I had it there, like on my phone, in front of him, like, this is the image that I want, please do that. And he had this like body safe pen, kind of like a Sharpie, but not quite. And he drew the design on my hand. He didn't use a stencil. He just drew the design on, and we're just talking, and you know, and the hand's like there, so I'm not really like seeing it. And then when he was satisfied, he grabbed the tattoo machine, says, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm ready for the pain." Like, my mental state is like, yes, I'm prepared and ready for the first sharp sort of sting of the tattoo machine. What I didn't do was check what he had actually drawn on me, because I didn't think to do that, because I have the design on the phone right there in front of him. I think that he's got the same vision that I do. I think that I have communicated my wishes effectively at this point. And he didn't ask me, oh, is this correct? Is this what you wanted? This big bad miscommunication is the whole cause of the problem. Because this is supposed to be a counterpiece to this. This is supposed to have the same kind of proportions as this. I will put the original on the screen. And it does not match. It does not match. It's twice as big as it needs to be. He morphed the shape so that it like would fit this part of my hand instead of this part of my hand. Like all around rather than just here. It was supposed to come down here and it was supposed to be as delicate and elegant as this part, not chonky and warped. If I had seen it, I would have been able to say, oh yeah, that's not actually what I had in mind. Could you do it more exact to the image? But I didn't see it, and I didn't think to see it, and I didn't check it until after it had been finished. And that is partly on me. I should have checked it. I should have been more aware. But I am not the professional in this situation. It's understandable if I forget some part of the process. It's not okay for him to forget any part of the process, whether it be consultation or hygiene or actual sort of effectively using the machine or anything like that. And again, I think I have communicated my wishes effectively at this point because it was on my phone in front of him the entire time. I mean, I didn't think that my wishes could be interpreted any other way as do this, but he changed it. So when he finished and went out for a vape, I looked down and I saw it and I just, my heart sank into instant regret. And I'm there in the middle of the studio and we've still got another tattoo to do. And I'm just like, shit, I can't say anything kind of mode. So I'm just like, you know, behind my mask, I can't even fake a smile sort of thing. Like, now some people have said to me that it's not so bad, but it's on my body and I think that it's fugly. So that's enough for me to want it, like seriously just want it removed. There is no adapting this into this. There is no adapting this into this. Like, I want it gone. I want it removed. And I have never ever thought that about a tattoo before. I have always thought, hey, cover up is better than laser. That was the intention with this one. I do not want to change the original. I like the original. The whole point of this design was that this and what was supposed to be this both came from the GBA SP tribal design as another way of showing my affiliation for Nintendo. Like, it was supposed to be an exact copy. Now, one person who is a tattoo aficionado told me that you know, they didn't think that it was a tattoo artist's job to copy like a photocopier, and any tattooist that does an image from phone directly as a copy isn't really a tattoo artist and should instead adapt images and ideas. And to an extent, I do agree. This was just adapted in a way that I don't like and I didn't ask for. And for me, it was important that this be exact. I even told him what it was from. I don't think I made it clear enough, obviously, that it be exact, that it match this. Like, if I had requested a piece of flash from, like, their wall or something, they would have done it exact. However, I do think that it is wrong to copy other people's tattoos. And if somebody has, let's say, like, nobody owns flowers. Like, if somebody wants a rose or a daisy or whatever, like I've got a few roses on me, like as long as it's different from somebody else's, that's fine. Or if it's like a piece of flash, that's also fine. But like copying, say for example, Rihanna's like Egyptian goddess tattoo under the breasts sort of thing, like that is not okay to try and copy that. If you want to, you can adapt that and make it different, but not copying somebody else's tattoos. I feel like that's very, very tacky and also a little bit creepy, just to copy what somebody else has done. Like, no. But even if that all wasn't the case, I still don't understand why he thought that it was good or matching what was already there. And, you know, it turns out he didn't. Like, nothing about these match. Nothing about these match. And the absolute super kicker of all of this is that, yes, it was the day before my birthday. This was a birthday present to me. And it was the last of my furlough fund money that I had, you know, saved up. So that's really great. So now I have to work extra hard to try and afford very, very expensive laser to try and remove this. So I did talk to him about it. I talked to him about it a week later, because that was the first time that I managed to get him alone. And you may be wondering why I let him do the rose after this. Well, it's because what was there was so cringy. Like, he could have scribbled over it in all black and just called it the representation of chaos, and I would have been happy with it, because it was just, what was there was so bad. But also because I was feeling really embarrassed at that point, and I didn't know how to tell him, hey, I don't like this, in a room full of other tattooists and clients. So from his perspective, I can see why it would seem weird that I go away happy and then come back a week later saying I'm unhappy, but that's the reason why. But I did get him alone to talk to him, and he basically blamed me. He didn't apologise, not even an insincere apology, which is just bad customer service. In this country, people will say sorry instead of excuse me when they're trying to walk past people. So there's no excuse for not saying sorry. I told him I don't like it and it's not what I wanted. And he said, what do you want me to do about it? I didn't even expect that response. Like, obviously it's too late to do anything about it now, but holy hell, have some compassion. I told him that I would either like get it lasered, I'm thinking about getting lasered, or just cover it up all in like, just make it one big black shape and forget the whole fucking thing ever happened, and do that design that I actually wanted somewhere else on my arm. And he said to let it heal because he couldn't do anything about it until then, and I like, yeah, okay, I know that. And his ego went into overdrive, and he said that in all my 6 years of tattooing, I've never had a customer say this to me. Well, congratulations, now it's happened. And he also said that anyone else in his situation would basically tell me to fuck off. So, thanks for passive-aggressively telling me to fuck off. He said that it is my fault and I should have been paying attention, which is true. And I admitted that, and I call this a lesson learned. But so should he. Like, he needs to also learn the lesson from this. Like, never ever forget to check with the client what you're doing is correct. And he kept saying that, oh, I don't need to. I didn't need to because you were there looking, you were there watching me. No, I wasn't. Actually, again, I was so caught up in the moment, of like dealing with the pain, and before that, like just having a talk and like chatting about sex, because what else are you going to do with tattoo artists? They're all filthy minded. Like, I didn't think about checking the work. I thought that I didn't need to. I thought I had communicated my wishes effectively already. And I'm just happy to sit there and let him get on with it and be still and get a good tattoo out of it. That's my thinking on what was happening. And because it's at that sort of an angle, I couldn't really see it anyway. But yeah, I should have checked. I should have checked. And now, guess who is taking responsibility with really expensive consequences? Yeah, I am accepting my part of the blame here, and he is accepting none of it. He said it looked like the image I originally showed him, so I showed him the difference. And then he blamed me for having no one cohesive style of tattoo, that they're all very different styles. So could you have not asked me? Hey, does this have to be exact? Like, I'm sorry. This, no way does this match this. No way does this look like the original. Why would I have wanted this? And I know it sounds ridiculous for me to say that this is twice as big as it should have been. Surely I should have felt it going across here. Yeah, I felt it. But it still didn't register in my mind at that time that this was not correct. Weird as that sounds, it was just a case of me getting through the, like, because this is a very sort of sensitive area. I'm just like sitting there getting through the sensation of it rather than anything else. Like, I know it sounds weird, but that's just how it was. And finally he told me that he was very nervous about tattooing me ever again. And I said that I wasn't sure I wanted him to tattoo me ever again. I was just telling him this as feedback. You know, consider this as feedback. Like, guess what? In future, you really shouldn't forget to check with the client before starting tattooing. And if he had used a stencil, it wouldn't have been an issue anyway. But this gave me one of the worst birthdays of my life. Not the worst, but one of the worst. Because it's like having a bad haircut. You've suddenly got this thing that you have to live with that's on your body that you didn't want, that doesn't represent you, that doesn't, you know, doesn't represent your wishes. And out of everything else that's going on in my life right now, like, I have my Thursday D&D group, and my Monday D&D group is now starting back up again as well. I have a job that's fairly secure, if not stressful. I have, like, lots of guys that I'm dating and having fun with, and that's great. And, you know, people that I'm meeting, and, like, life is pretty good. And this one thing dragged down my mood considerably for several days and is still affecting me now, over a week later. So I know this is going to be pretty controversial if the tattoo community ever finds it, but I had to get this out there. I had to say, you know, this is how it is from my perspective. I know that there are two sides to this story, and that this tattooist might also want to put his side out there. That's fine. I'm not even pretending to be 100% in the right here, and I'm not giving 100% of the blame to him. I just think that this was a very, very bad miscommunication, and I'm really, really upset by it. But what's made me the most upset is the fact that because we've had such a great rapport up till now, and You know, we actually met in a social situation, not a business situation. Like, the fact that he didn't even say sorry, even insincerely, is a big problem and is a wounded ego talking and is not fair on me. But anyway, now I've got to go to work and earn lots of money to afford to even see if I can get this thing lasered off. So, yeah. Tell me what you think in the comments and the things. If you, or even make a video talking about this and you know, send me the link, please. Like, I want to hear about it. Also, the bad thing about this is that I didn't get to do my clouds around here that I really have been wanting for fucking years. So, yeah. I don't really want to do my usual sign off. Anyway, I've talked about this long enough, so I'll catch you next time with some more happier topics. Until then, take care and please check your tattoos before getting them done. Never ever gonna forget that again. Bye.